Well, good morning. I have a funny story for all of you. Okay. I have a really, really funny story for you. Just happened to me moments ago. I can't wait to tell you. Everything you're about to hear, I've been doing for like 10 minutes. So, I hit the button, or so I thought, and I was off and running on the podcast. Doing what I normally do, little of this, little of that, razzle dazzle. And then I took a look, and I was talking to no one. It wasn't even on. The whole thing. I was like, oh, my God. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't starting right on time. It was probably 8:04, 8:05 Eastern time when I did it. But I was definitely doing it. I was like, oh, man, I got it today. I'm just on fire. This is great. Oh, my gosh. That's, can you imagine, had I not noticed that I wasn't actually live and I did the full show and no one saw it? I mean, of course, I would have the audio recording. But at some point, someone would have reached out to Diana because a lot of you have her number and said, hey, what's up with Eric? Where's Eric at? And she would have been like, well, I don't know. And then she would have tried to reach out to me. And then I wouldn't have been able to see it because I have my phone on Do Not Disturb when I'm doing the podcast. So she would have then called Madison, who's in the middle of Zoom school in the other room, who then would have come into this room and said, hey, mom's wondering what's up. This all would have happened. Oh my gosh. Thank the Lord that I saw that it wasn't actually live. Oh my gosh. But nevertheless, the live stream of the Eric Zane Show podcast, where you get video and audio, is brought to you by some key sponsors. Thank you very much to Blue Frost IT Online. I've already done this once. I did this whole thing once. Son of a bitch. 616-285-50 from my friends at Blue Frost IT, the managed IT service provider for the Eric Zane Show podcast. If your small or medium-sized business is going without any IT support, here's what's what could happen. I'm not going to say it's going to happen. But you definitely don't want this to happen. To be sitting there and all of a sudden when your computer blows up, to be then scrambling to find somebody who can help you with it. If you have a managed IT service provider, which reminds me, I got to pay my bill, in place, you just call on your support team, and hey, man, you're back in business before you know it. Don't let this slide. But if you do let it slide, and you're like, okay, I didn't take Zane, his advice, and my stuff is all messed up, I do need to reach out to Blue Frost IT. Yes, they can put you on track, but then sign up for a service contract, a monthly service contract with them. That is what I recommend. 616-285-50 for the pros at Blue Frost IT. Speaking of pros, we got a lot of them that help support this show. BK Guns and Stuff, the gunsmith of choice on the Eric Zane Show podcast, servicing weaponry anywhere in the United States, from anywhere in the United States. You just got to get it to them to find out details on how to get the weaponry appropriately from across state lines. Call 616-902-2447. They're known all around the world for their expertise at BK Guns and Stuff. You can also find them on their Facebook page by clicking on the BK Guns and Stuff logo on ericzaneshow.com. Fun! And then there's my friends at Prince Arming, Steve Prince, okay? You know how there's Prince Charming? I don't know, Disney movie, whatever. Prince Arming. That is freaking gold. Love it. Prince Arming is teaching people what they need to know to be able to carry their pistol concealed. Once you complete the class, you can then apply for your pistol license in the great state of Michigan, and you are approved because you've taken the coursework at Prince Arming. Classes all the time, and you can get more information about where and when on Steve's website. You can get to it by going to my website and clicking on the Prince Arming logo about when the next class is. The class costs you $125, but then you're done. You know, you have all that taken care of. All you have to do then is take the paperwork and go to your county and sign up to get your pistol license. Thank you to Steve. His phone number is 616-204-1705. For the second time today, I'm doing the intro. It comes to you from the Baldwin Ace Hardware Fear Bunker Studio. The Eric Zane Show podcast begins for the second time now. Wow. Hey, this is Blue State Rob.
Hey, this is Blue State Rob, and you're listening to the Eric Zane Show podcast, a show hosted by a liberal Republican whose ancestry dates back to the small country of Armenia and fueled by bouts of anxiety and adult attention hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. It's not the best, but still better than radio. Anyway, here's your host, Eric Zane.
All right, thank you, Rob. I appreciate it, buddy. This is a daily podcast where we discuss news, nonsense, and my personal shenanigans. It is the Eric Zane Show podcast. You can find us on Facebook, brought to you by Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. Not to mention Twitter. Periscope video brought to you by Blue Frost IT. And on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell notification button. And then you're in good shape. You can watch it there, too. That brought to you by F45 Training in Byron Center, Michigan. All right. And then, of course, wherever you download audio podcasts, that's where you can find this show as well. Wherever you download audio podcasts, as well, you can go to ericzaneshow.com and click where it says free podcast, and then you can download the audio that way. We have you covered. Boy, that was a bad feeling when I took a look and said, you're not even live. And in fact, right now, things are fine. For a second there during the second rendition of the intro, I was like, is it going right now? Because I cannot see the chat. It says no internet. But I know that that's not true because the number of viewers keeps fluctuating. So I'm assuming that is okay. But while I'm at it, I might as well just check. Yeah, it says I'm live. I'm good to go. All right. Could do a wormhole, but I'm scared that I'll screw something up. All right, man. We've got a lot of ground to cover on the show today. Plenty to get into. New research indicates how destructive a super spreader event really is. Okay. YouTuber Jake Paul. Hold on. Back to that. What they're talking about there is months ago when this all got started. Okay. When we kind of really didn't know anything about COVID. There was something that took place that it's amazing the number of cases have been tracked back to it, okay? And this needs to be discussed because the amount of research and time that they put into it to determine what can happen is remarkable. And basically, all you have to do is take this one convention that happened where all hell broke loose, and you can trace it to so many cases. Now you take that scenario and multiply it times however fold, and you take any scenario where people meet, and this is. I almost wish there was more visual ways to describe how much like a wildfire this thing spreads, because I don't even know if it even matters in this day and age. People don't care enough. It seems like. They don't care if they get sick. It's really strange to me. YouTuber Jake Paul calls out the notorious Conor McGregor. And boy, this guy, because I don't think he's stupid, but wow, he is so assured of his abilities after just 2 gong show boxing events. And I am really, really blown away by the stones on this guy, Jake Paul, who I didn't even know who this dude was, him or his brother, Logan Paul. No idea who these people were. It's only by events like this that have made me go, oh, all right. NFL legend Bruce Smith is going after that idiot youth football coach. I don't know if you remember Bruce Smith. Very, very dangerous man for the old school Buffalo Bills football team. He's an older gentleman now, but I still wouldn't screw with him. He's calling out that scumbag from Georgia who repeatedly punched that 8-year-old in the face. Well, shouldn't say in the face. Kid had a helmet on. You all saw it, though. It was terrible. It was one of the worst things you've ever seen. We got an email from a listener, BJ, about the coverage of Vanderbilt kicker Sarah Fuller. You notice how I didn't say first female to score a point in Division I football Power 5, breaking the barrier, Sarah Fuller, legendary, ending gender discrimination as we know it in this world today, a very first. He has an email concerning the coverage of Vandy kicker Sarah Fuller. Great game last night. Football, wow. Monday Night Football. Baltimore over Cleveland, 47-42 in just a barn burner. Lamar is just a beast, proving once again that he is the preeminent dual threat quarterback. This guy, there's nothing you can do with this guy. He backs up and the pocket collapses. He steps up. You think he's going to run, but no, he's got you for 18. Boom, throws it on a rope in between two defenders. Oh no, pocket collapses, steps up. You think he's going to throw it on a rope for 18, but no, it's for 12. What an absolute beast. Of all the quarterbacks that we have seen over the years who have the ability to destroy you with their legs, their head, and their arm, I think Lamar is probably, oh boy, it's going to take a lot to make it so this guy is not a Hall of Famer if he keeps it up like this. I love that guy. Baltimore wins. Cleveland already in the playoffs. And Baltimore still fighting for their lives, but not so much anymore. I think this team was 14-2 last year. And they are just now with their 8th win, they're catching fire. And look out. That was an incredible football game that a lot of people needed as a distraction, a shootout. Everybody's talking about that Monday Night Football game last night. Baltimore wins it. Man, that was just fantastic. Do you remember last year? Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year. Somebody suggested, forgot who did it, that the Ravens quarterback, the black dude, Lamar, that if he handed the ball off, because the ball matched the color of his arms, it was easier to trick the defense, that his skin lined up appropriately with the color of the ball. I forgot who said it, but it was a shitstorm of trouble for that. And so the next game, Lamar throws on the those arm covers that cover just like from your wrist to your elbow, and they were white. How awesome is that? Great troll. Love that guy. But first, the great food giveaway update. Now, let me just tell you, I have a feeling that some of you are very worried of what I might think if I don't see that you've contributed, and I don't want you to feel that way. We got this. This is okay. If you cannot throw $5 in the bucket, don't even worry about it. Okay? This is not about, there's so many of us that are out there that have made this happen. Everybody else is doing the heavy lifting. If you cannot do it, do not sweat that. Do not feel bad. Don't think that you're being judged in any way, shape, or form. I totally get it. Please. This is a tricky, tricky time of year, and every single penny, some of us, it's bare bones. So believe me, I know exactly what you're going through, and I don't want you to feel like, oh boy, Eric is going to see that I did not contribute and I normally do, or something like that. Screw it, man. We got this. We have got this. And so it is. It will never be along those lines. I will never, ever try to shame you into anything like that. I got an email recently that made me think that I should address this directly. Please, please, please don't sweat it. If you can, great. If you can show up and help lift a box, great. That's wonderful. If you could just keep us in your thoughts, and perhaps for the next time we do this, that's fine too. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it. We got this. The great food giveaway is happening on December 23rd at Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid. It starts at 2 p.m. Please spread the word. I made an event on Facebook. If you could share that, and maybe like when you share it to your page, right? For those in need in West Michigan, check this out or something like that. Because, I don't have that's the last thing I want to happen is us to talk about this, have all this food ready to go, have all these people ready to go, or we're there day of, and then no one driving up. So I've been working behind the scenes to spread the word through my various channels. But honestly, you at home on your own social media, if you share my Facebook event that I posted, that's awesome. Oh my God, because that means if you've got 300 people that are your friends on Facebook, and they might not even know who I am or I exist or follow the show or whatever, and they see that there is a food drive, first of all, they might be in need, and then or they might know someone. So encourage your friends to share that as well. I just want to make sure that we are able to feed 100 families. That is the goal. And as you know, it started out as 40, but it went like gangbusters really quickly because some people came out of the woodwork and started dropping money in our bucket right away. And that was awesome. And then we were able to very quickly get the money that we needed to feed 40 people. And then we upped the goal to 100 Christmas meals. So, with that in mind, with all the money that we raised for that was very, very cool. If you do want to help out, here's how I'm doing it. I'm having you send money via Venmo or PayPal. Okay. Now, I know that sounds weird because those are personal things. It isn't like a charity. I don't have the means to have anything like that right now, but ultimately, I plan on this being part of my life's work through the platform, talking, spreading the word, whatever, for this to be a regular thing for all of the holidays, okay? Even frickin' St. Patrick's Day. The St. Patrick's Day Great Food Giveaway. So the way I'm doing it right now is this, and just for full transparency, I want to be very clear on this. You're sending money to either a Venmo, which is at Great Food Giveaway, and I'll put this all in the notes of the audio podcast, or PayPal. Search at Diana Zaitunian. That's of course the Queen of the Forest, Diana Zeitunian, my last name. From there, that money builds up in those two accounts. When it comes time to buy the food at Meijer, because no one's donating anything, I'm just buying it. People are like, well, why don't you ask if they can give it away? I say, yeah, I know what you mean, but we only remember, I just started this late last week. This was a really, really quick thing, and we needed to be nimble. So you realize when you start asking for stuff for free, meetings have to be had, discussions have to be made. Didn't have time for that. Got to get the food, got to pay for it. You're all paying for it, what you have paid for it. Thank you. So that's how we're doing it. I go through those two accounts, and we're going to make I'm like, all right, here you go. We raised this amount of money in this account, and I'll show it to you on a video, the actual amount of money made in those accounts. And then on the PayPal, I'll go, this is the money that came in there. You'll see an actual dollar amount for each of those accounts. And I'm pretty accurate right now as to where we are with those, and I'll tell you in a second. And then I'll go ahead to Meijer and buy 100 meals, and then I'll show you the receipt of the amount spent. And any extra money left over, I'm sending it to the direction of a great local organization called the Kids Food Basket. Called Kids Food Basket is what they're known as. Not the Kids Food Basket, but Kids Food Basket. And so there you go. That's it. No red tape. Money comes in. I buy the food. We take the food over to Irvine's Auto Repair Grand Rapids Hybrid on Wednesday, December 23rd, starting at noon. People drive up because they've heard about it. We take a box full of a turkey, 5 pounds potatoes, gravy, corn, rolls, and a pie. Each meal costs just over $26 for all that food. Pick up the box, put it in the car. Thank you very much. They drive a little bit 10 feet away. There's folks from the Grand Rapids Pit Bull Alliance there saying, do you have a pet? Yeah, we got 2 dogs. How about some free pet food? Oh, my God, thank you. Put the pet food in the car. Boom, gone. That's it. First come, first served, 100 cars, 100 meals, done. That's how we're doing it. So I'm really stoked about it. I'm stoked about the future of it because if just a notion in a head that was Denny Fake News from A&D Cleaning, he reached out to me and said, hey, I want to help some people with food for the holidays for Thanksgiving. And I go, well, I don't have any time for that, man. I'm getting ready to leave town, and it's 2 days before, but let's plan on it for Christmas. That was it. So if I can, with a notion from Denny Fake News, and while I'm sitting in a hotel room, a strange place, 2,500 miles from my house with one kidney and a huge incision in my belly, can whip this up. Can you imagine if 1 year from now, after all the planning goes through it and we have all of our ducks in a row, the things that we can do, the fact that we came up with this and then you guys came out of the woodwork and dropped the amount of coin that you've dropped on this, just like sending it to a Venmo and a PayPal. Once we get organized, man, I am so stoked about this. I think we can really, really make a dent in even more so. And not just here, because like I spoke about earlier, my vision for this is that, yeah, this is where it all goes down, but I can unload grants to different members of the audience and different, let's say Kenny has a big event similar to this. He can do that in Nashville. We can pay for that for him through the charity. So that's what we're gonna do. That's the latest adventure, the Great Food Giveaway. So please help me share this by going to my Facebook and clicking on the events and then sharing what I have there. And I'll link it up in the audio podcast in the show notes so that you can just click on it and share it to your own, because I really want people to be there for it, to be able to receive the food, you know. A couple of things. I did some budgeting for the 100 meals. And I did get a couple late last night in an additional Venmos or PayPals. So we're pretty close to the amount that we need. But it's estimated that to feed 100 families for Christmas, that cost is $2,696. Okay? As of last night, prior to a Facebook Live that I did, we had $2,618.20 raised. The 20 cents came from someone who donated $20 and 20.20. So that was a nice touch. So that gave us, before the Facebook Live, of 2618.20 raised. So just shy of the estimated cost for 100 meals. So yeah, you know, whatever. And then after I did the Facebook Live, people were donating. Even I don't even care if it's $1, man. If you can throw $1 at us, that's freaking sweet. I am not. That would be awesome. Whatever you can spare. If you can spare $1 for this, like if you're watching this podcast or listening to this podcast, and you check me out on Venmo at Great Food Giveaway, or search at Diana Zaitunian on PayPal and threw $1 into it, that's sweet, because that means there'll be more like you who are doing it just $1. So that's cool. I appreciate that. And then we're going to feed some people. I'm really, really happy about this, and just so excited to have the opportunity. I reached out to a friend who works in television about this, and I said, hey, are you interested in the story? And he goes, yeah, and could you please relax? And I go, what? And he goes, seriously, I don't know where you get the energy. And I go, I don't either. Frankly, I'm just blessed. I spoke with Jeffrey just yesterday as he recovers with his new kidney. And the dialogue said, he goes, you will not believe how much energy I have right now. Let's see. What did he write to me? Oh, he wrote a lot. Okay. This is funny. Jeffrey writes, Armenian kidney is working perfect. I had a checkup today. The doctor was very happy with function. I'm blessed. Love you guys. I wrote, oh, man, that's fantastic. Congrats. Diana won't have sex with me. And then he wrote, my wife either. We're like monks. I wrote, she thinks I'll hurt myself. By the way, she was included in this conversation. So it was Jeffrey, me, and Diana. She did not weigh in. He says, it'll be worth the wait. I hope your left testicle has rested a bit. I worry. And I wrote, ha, thanks. All is well. He sent me praying hands. He said, peeing has never been so joyful. I have so much energy. It's scary. I'm going to start writing again next week. I wrote, I'm super happy for you, man. I had too much energy. And it's true. I did. I needed to share this energy. He wrote, I used to. He said, I used to. People say I sound alive again, not brain dead. I sounded brain dead, man. Yeah, I should be doing this all in Jeffrey voice. And then Diana wrote, that's so awesome. And then he sent me, it looks like some statistic. Let's see. Oh, yeah, oh, my God. Creatinine is a byproduct of kidney function, and you don't want it very high. If you have a high creatinine level, that's not good, okay? His creatinine level prior to the transplant was 12.85. And another number, urea nitrogen greater than 81. That was in June. Now, after the kidney was installed, sounds like a robot. Again, 12.85 was his creatinine. Right now, 1.21. It should be 1. But when you only have one kidney, it goes up. If you have 2 kidneys, your creatinine should be about 1 or less. Jeffrey's right now from 12.85. Installation of the Ferrari kidney puts him at 1.21. That's insanely awesome. Let's see. What else do I need to look at here? A lot of words. Less than 15 is kidney failure. My God. His urea nitrogen goes from 81 to 27. All good news. Creatinine 1.2, urea 27, and he said this will go down when they remove the stent. My GFR was 4 in June. That is kidney function. That is terrible. It is now at 69. So that's a good number. Oh, my word, incredible, and it will only get better thanks to my Armenian Ferrari kidney, he writes. I never responded to this, so he probably thinks I don't care. Love it. Talking about it on the podcast. Oh, man, oh, my God. He said to me the other day, he's learning quickly that everything that flies out of anybody's mouth is fair game on the podcast unless someone says, don't mention that on the podcast. If someone says, don't mention it on the podcast, I'm talking about it. So, when I talked with Jeffrey on the show, when I interviewed him prior to the surgery, he was like, oh, man, man, I sound like I'm all dead. And I keep saying, man, oh, man, And I go, yeah, I don't think it was the kidney function and the tiredness that was making you say, I think it was the fact that you got a verbal crutch. Trust me, I've got my own. And then Pellerito broke it down and determined that in the conversation, I said, 4.5% of the time. Jeffrey said it like 95.5% of the time. True. Like 240 times in that 1 hour interview, Jeffrey said, which I think broke down to once every 4.5 seconds. Man, knock it off, man. You're pissing me off, Oh, my God, man, I love you. I love you. I can get away with that because I love you so much. I'm not afraid to say it. How do you get to love somebody in such a short amount of time? I don't know. Something's going on in my brain. All right. So there you go. That started talking about the Great Food Giveaway. But so I got the Great Food Giveaway coming up, teaming up with the Grand Rapids Pit Bull Alliance. That is a terrific outreach organization for pets, not just pit bulls. But that's kind of what they got their start involved in. And they're involved in a lot more, too. Thank you to Tanel over there. She is awesome and just a dynamo as well. Thank you. Yesterday, you need to know this. I may have overdid it. And the Queen of the Forest is not happy about it at all. And, if I'm sitting here, it's not really a big deal. I get a little bit, it gets a little uncomfortable at the incision where the kidney came out of my body. And, it's not that big of a deal. I can just power through it. Like today, I hadn't even taken any medicine. I took medicine last night, a couple of Tylenol. I haven't even taken any today. The sensation of discomfort is leaving slowly but surely. But it's really important that I try to not overextend myself. And I think right now I'm smart enough to know that at this stage in the recovery, sitting here talking, maybe a phone call here and there and doing the podcast and then we're going downstairs, getting something to eat, maybe rest a little and then get back after it is fair. And then going for a nice slow walk is fair. Excuse me. What is not fair for my own body is taking all 4 dogs for a walk. And I said, she said, no, I don't want you to take all 4 dogs for a walk. This is yesterday. This is before the day started. Hang on. I got to clear my throat. That's never fun. It's just a little uncomfortable. So I get done with the podcast yesterday. It was a 2-hour, 15-minute free podcast. No big deal. I was like, oh, that was fun. I enjoyed it. Dogs are looking at me. They want to go outside. I could just let them outside. But the walk is key. I really like giving the dogs a walk. So I put all the harnesses on and went for a walk, all of them. 4 harnesses, 4 winter. All the dogs have like sweaters. Put their sweaters on. Off I go. 2 dogs on one harness setup. 2 dogs on another. And, I've indicated before that it doesn't take much if they get going to knock me to the ground. If I get pulled to the ground, that's a problem. And frankly, if the dogs start to tug it too much, I have to put a lot of pressure to stop them from tugging. And I know it's more than 15 pounds worth of pressure to get them to stop tugging. And Dr. Grish said no more than 15 pounds. Like, don't lift anything that's more than 15 pounds. Taking the dogs for a walk and that resistance piling up is well more than 15 pounds. Frickin' Bruce weighs 35 and he, his momentum. So what's the physics formula? Speed times mass equals force, I think. I don't know. That's just Bruce. And I got O'Neill and then Daisy. She's 70 pounds. And Benny, the one-eyed wonder dog. And so just walking them is probably a bad idea. Just walking, because Bruce pulls, for starters. That's not great. But then I'm like, this will be fine. I'll be okay. I'm like, I can handle it, Now, the concern is a hernia or the stitches popping open or something that just sounds awful. I mean, right now you're going, oh, God, I can't imagine that. I mean, imagine I'm walking down the street and Bruce sees something he doesn't like, or he takes off after it, and O'Neill's right behind, and they yank me, and then all of a sudden my pancreas flies out of my dick hole, winds up on my neighbor Chris's front lawn, or I'm dragging the dogs are dragging me, and I'm dragging my pancreas out of my dick hole on the surface on the grass. It's getting dirt in it, and so I'm like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? That's what I'm envisioning. You're like going, God. And then I'm like, this will all work out if there are no other dogs getting walked. If there's no other dogs getting walked, I think I can handle it. That's a big if. We come around the corner. My neighbor, Kristen. her husband, Jason, they actually listen. They got this dog, and the dog, it's crazy because what was once a puppy, it's kind of like this poodle-looking dog. She has turned into this super protective, aggressive hellion dog who they love very much, and I'm sure it's a great dog. But this dog is a frickin' a Nazi. It is just, it's insanely aggressive, and it's not big. Hell, I would say the dog is 25 pounds, maybe 30. Her name is Ruby, and she is so hell-bent on wanting to beat the shit out of all four of these dogs. Every time we see Ruby, it's like, oh, no. Now, usually it's just Bruce and O'Neill that want to kick her ass. O'Neill just kind of wants to play with her. Bruce wants to kill her. Ruby not only is out, but is not on a leash. And I'm like, oh, no. And Ruby, teeth, spit, comes attacking Bruce. And Bruce is like, oh, fuck no. And then O'Neill is like, she's nipping at O'Neill. And then O'Neill's like, oh, but geez, you don't want to play. I guess I'll just have to try to act like I'm mad. And so O'Neill's getting involved. And Benny and Daisy, thank God, are just kind of like looking at this dog like, are you serious? Now, oh, God. So he's pulling me, and I can just picture like my intestines flying out of the wound as it bursts open like Alien. And then, so there's like 3-4 big tugs, and I'm like, oh my God, what is going to happen here? Well, ultimately, I can't move. I'm just standing still, okay, as these dogs kind of volley between them. If they do decide to actually get into it and fight and try to bite each other, I'm kind of helpless at this point. By the way, this is all my fault. Every single bit of this is my fault. Had I just listened to the Queen of the Forest and Dr. Grish, I would not be in this trouble. So I'm acknowledging that right now. Thank God the kid opens the door. The kid is getting like Zoom schooled. And thank God she's there, and she opens up the door and she comes running out. She's got a smile on her face. She's always smiling. And I go, can you get your dog, please? I sound like a defeated loser. And she sweetly picks up Ruby and takes Ruby inside. I'm like, oh, thank God it's over. And then on my way I go, but I think the damage was done because, man, but it didn't end there because I got the dogs home, and then I was like, oh, thank God it's over. And I think there was no real problem at that point. But then at around 2:30, I said, I'm going to take the dogs for another walk. I did it once successfully. How stupid is that? Can you believe that? After all of that, I then followed up with yet taking the dogs for another walk. So I got them all ready again and then went out again. What? So stupid. Excuse me. And then I thought I could make it home in time before Diana got there, because if she found out that I was doing that, this would be a problem. But it all blew up my face because Diana called Madison. And just before because school gets out at like 3 or something like that. And so she calls before 3. And says, hey, is Dad there? No, he's out walking the dog. So I got ratted out. She goes, he is? Uh-oh. So I would have made it home, no problem. So Diana finds out. She gets home. Eric! Uh-oh, here we go. Dr. Grish told you were not to do that. What are you doing? Now, at this point, though, it all came to a head because she's giving me the business, and I'm starting to limp. Something is very, very sore. Nothing major or anything like that. But I think this served as a reminder that I was a horrible, horrible patient throughout the day, and I need to just chill. I got to figure out something. I might take one dog for a short walk, but I got to commit to this because seriously, it's going to take a long time to recover if I don't. Because that's the first thing Grish said. He says, look, you have to understand that it's very easy to do too much too soon. This would qualify as that. So, what an idiot. Sorry about that, honey. I'll try to follow the rules a little more. The open of the Eric Zane Show podcast brought to you by the Kent County Health Department. Thank you to them, 616-632. Now, it says 7,200 on the sign, but you can call 7,100 for more information about vaccinations. Kent County Health Department, everything you need concerning COVID, vaccinations for your kids, the WIC program, and you can check out many of their other services by going to accesskent.com/health. accesskent.com/health. COVID testing sites throughout the area, everything you need for vaccinations for your kids. If you are not an anti-vaxxer, God help you if you are. I wonder if there's been ever anybody listening when I said something like that and then said, "Oh, screw that. He's calling out anti-vaxxers. I hate him," and then never listen to me again. Kent County Health Department at accesskent.com/health. I talked to my friends over at Great Legs Winery, Brewery, and Distillery in Holland, Michigan, just yesterday. And they had been off of the show for about the last month and a half. But then I get a call that says, "Hey, guess what we're doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. What are you doing?" "We're having a big December holiday promotion. This is awesome. They decided to clean house. Half off. Howlers and growlers. So you walk in with your howler or your growler. You beer people know what those are. And then you say, fill it up. And what was going to first cost you one price is now 50% off. So grab your howler, grab your growler, go to Great Legs Winery, Brewery, and Distillery in Holland, Michigan, across the street from the beautiful Windmill Estates Mobile Home Park, and get that thing filled up for half off. That's awesome. You go to their website, and you can, and I've got it, it's at greatlegswinery.com, and it'll load right up to their ordering page. Give it a second, okay? And then order online. Not only, you can get a bottle of wine at half off, even their number one seller, the Traminette, okay? That is unbelievable. Bottles of wine that were $20 a bottle are now $10 a bottle. You can get 2 complimentary shot glasses free with every bottle of grappa. You want a keg? They'll sell you a keg. You can get a torpedo or a pony or a half barrel of some of their various beers for big savings during the Great Legs Winery, Brewery, Distillery December holiday promotion. So basically half off everything in the store except for the grappa. That is so great. Again, you can order online, pick it up curbside, or just go on in and pick it up. Just get the hell out of there because you know the rules. 1/4 mile west of US 31, across from the luxurious Windmill Estates Mobile Home Park. You can even call Jim from Great Legs Winery and talk to him about whatever it is you want to order at 616-916-9729. Welcome back to my friends at Great Legs Winery, Brewery, and Distillery in Holland, Michigan. All right. Okay. My friends at Shoreliner Striping, wrapping up the year. They've had a great year at Shoreliner Striping parking lots. If you want information about any of their services, shorelinerstriping.com. And that could mean preparation for the spring when you're going to stripe your parking lot, or even get it swept, or maybe you need painting of an athletic field. They do it all at shorelinerstriping.com. All right. During this whole pandemic mess, which obviously people are trying to work their way through it, we've heard many, many times about these super spreader events that have taken place. And especially early on when we didn't really know what we knew about it, what we know now, those things were bound to happen, which kind of makes the motorcycle rally kind of discouraging. Because, and frankly, at the time that the motorcycle rally happened, I think I was in the spot where I was like, it's got to be fine, which my opinions have varied on this. Seriously, a lot of the things I've said on this show have not aged well. But I think that that's okay. People accuse me of like, yeah, you're just changing your mind like the way the wind blows or the weather changes. Like, no, not really. I just continually read and assess. And, if I try not to let my emotions get in the way. But back when this all started, there was one event which was amazing because it was a team of scientists or doctors getting together for a conference on the East Coast. It has been linked to be the biggest super spreader event that they've had. It was a medical conference that happened in Boston in late February. So we're pretty early on in this whole thing. But the article in the New York Post talks about how a team of scientists using genetic sequencing found that between 205,000 and 300,000 coronavirus cases across the U.S. are linked to this conference in Boston in late February. My God. Previously, they thought that the conference was responsible for about 20,000 cases. But now they're saying it spread much, much further after 100 people caught the virus at the gathering. So I think that's really incredible that 100 people can lead to that many infections. And that, I guess, is a perfect example of how this spreads. I mean, the wildfire nature of a super spreader event. Through November 1, the genetic marker found in the strain of the virus linked to the conference was found in 51,000 cases around Boston. It also spread to other locations where conference attendees returned, including in Florida, where 29% of the conference-linked cases ended up, Indiana and North Carolina. The strain of the virus was found as far away as Australia and Slovakia, according to the research published in the journal Science. It's very credible. This isn't like just some fly-by-night thing. This is a real thing that was studied. We don't think that these strains had a propensity to spread more than any other. We suspect that these types of events have been happening over and over again, said Jacob Lemieux, the study's lead author, and are major contributors to the propagation and spread of SARS-CoV-2 throughout the world. That's just what it was known as, SARS-CoV-2, or this. Biogen, in a statement, said the pandemic has had a very direct and personal impact on the company and hoped the study would continue to drive a better understanding of the transmission of the virus and efforts to address it. I did see this. Excuse me. I did see that in and around where I live in various spots throughout the U.S., people seated frontline healthcare workers getting that shot, the injection of the first part of the vaccination. They're not safe until they get the second one. People are reporting, I feel my arm's a little sore. Some people are saying, some people might even have to take a day off because they feel a little bit under the weather from it. But for the most part, everything is lining up exactly as they planned it, and that's great news. I've enjoyed. It's made me feel good to see people getting that shot, because now as it ramps up, more and more are going to get it. I heard on the Today Show today that by March, every American will have accessibility to get this, which is insane to think. All right. One more thing I heard on the Today Show. They actually started off, because they're doing a food drive as well, excuse me, about the ridiculous level of need for food. And that kind of goes hand in hand, going back to the great food giveaway. It's just that's what everybody's talking about. There's a staggering number of people, I forget exactly off the top of my head, who are extremely food sensitive right now, just don't have enough to eat. So it just popped into my brain talking about the Today Show. They're focusing on that as well. All right, on to something kind of silly, I think, and that would be YouTuber Jake Paul, who I got to give this guy credit. You know you're onto something when I have never seen a single bit of his material online, okay, as to what he does as a content creator. You're onto something, in my opinion, if people who don't have any idea who you are learning who you are. A stupid old man like me, when I see a guy like Jake Paul on there, I'm now figuring out who this guy is and what he's all about. I'm learning. Excuse me. He's like the biggest the biggest YouTuber there is. Him and his brother Logan both produce content. Logan's been in a shitstorm of trouble over the years. He's trying to get into he's fighting Floyd Mayweather, Logan is. And because Mayweather is kind of like ridiculous, because it's really strange to me. Mayweather made a king's ransom fighting and never lost. Now in his retirement, he keeps doing stunt fights like the Conor McGregor thing. I think he fought some kickboxer. And I don't know. I think Floyd Jr. is hard up for money. I think he spends every penny he makes, and that's why he does this shit. I don't think he's the smartest dude in the world, but he is fighting Logan Paul. And Jake Paul is the guy who just recently beat the shit out of the basketball player. Did you see that, dude? And Nate Robinson is his name, and it was bad. I mean, Jake Paul kicked the shit out of him. And a lot of people were kind of like, wow, this dude means business. The dude, he has a ton of money from doing content, creating content. So much money that he put everything aside and did the old Malcolm Gladwell, tries to attain 10,000 hours to become an expert. And he's like well on his way. He's not exactly fighting great competition. He's fighting a former NBA player who thought he could step into the boxing ring, but he couldn't. And Paul did enough training that he beat the shit out of him. It's kind of ugly. But I think that is an entirely different animal if you take two fights, which is what Jake Paul has, and your ability for showmanship, and try to fight a real fighter. And the latest, Conor McGregor. Paul has all the money in the world, and he is putting up $50 million to fight Conor McGregor. Now, I don't know, man. Either he's got a screw loose or what, but this sounds just ridiculous to me. But he is serious as shit, and it might actually happen. The notorious Conor McGregor may fight a YouTuber in a boxing match. It wouldn't be an MMA fight. In coming up, McGregor fought Mayweather, and he did all right. But Mayweather obviously beat the hell out of him in the long run. I mean, he's one of the best that's ever fought. Even after his retirement, he was able to beat the shit out of Conor McGregor. This dude who's fought two fights, one of which was an NBA guy stepping into the ring, thinks he can fight Conor McGregor. Wow, just sounds dangerous to me. This is Jake Paul being interviewed by TMZ about what he wants to do to Conor McGregor.
First of all, I got to ask, man, it was such a wicked knockout, man. You had a lot of people actually worried about Nate Robinson's health and well-being. I know there was trash talk leading up to the fight, but you were super respectful after the fight.
I'm curious as to how he even got to fighting this guy, Nate Robinson. What the hell happened that made that fight even a thing?
Have you had a chance to talk to Nate since you knocked him out cold?
I sent him a brief DM, just saying like keep your head up basically, and then let's connect soon. Whenever
if I'm Nate Robinson, I got some YouTube idiot saying, "Yeah, man, you'll do better next time." I'd be like, "Fuck you."
Whenever you're ready. But yeah, I was praying for him after because I was worried he wasn't getting up. And at the end of the day, it's a sport. So after the victory, you have to respect your opponent. And like I said, Nate Robinson's a legend. No one should be,
He's not. And he's doing something that he didn't do for a living.
Coming and hating on him. 99.9% of people have never gotten into the boxing ring. So let's not take that away from Nate.
Yeah, that's the thing. Paul spent so much time training, getting up, to actually be a boxer. And then Nate Robinson is a former basketball player. He just steps into the ring. He just starts throwing punches. You ever see the way NBA players fight? They don't know how to fight. They just sit there and windmill punches. And then, so Paul, of course, is going to kick his ass.
Yeah, that's what I feel like, too. Just to have the balls to step in there and put all that on the line and know you risk embarrassment, I give it all the credit in the world. I wouldn't step in there, and I think most people wouldn't have the nerve to step in there. So, I mean, I think that was beautifully said. Did he answer you yet, Jake? I know he's probably going through a lot. Did he hit you back yet or not yet?
Yeah, he said let's chat soon. I think both him and I have gotten so many messages, and everything's been overwhelming. There's been so much going on, so I haven't even had a chance to, grasp this moment or have a moment to myself. So I'm still in shock from the moment, and it's just everything's super surreal. It
seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Conor McGregor is that dream fight for you. So, you just put the word out there Saturday night. Have you heard from Conor? Have you heard from Audie Attar or anybody else that's around Conor McGregor? Because I know a lot of people want this thing to happen between you and Conor, Jake.
Yeah, my team is talking to his manager, but that's all I'll say. I know other fighters with this big of a platform is calling out McGregor. So, my dogs have more followers than the guy he's fighting in January on Instagram.
Boy, bummer for the guy he's fighting in January on Instagram. What a thing to say. Holy shit.
That's all I'll say. I know other fighters with this big of a platform is calling out McGregor. So, my dogs have more followers than the guy he's fighting in January on Instagram. So the Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor fight is going to happen. And just a matter of when, and it's gonna be legendary. And I'm gonna win too. Like that's what I really want people to understand is. And I told my friends this. I was like, guys, this is gonna happen. But not only that, like I'm gonna dedicate my life to winning that fight, because I'm not just going in there just to fucking say I did it. I'm going in there to fucking fuck Conor McGregor up.
Come on, is it fair to say that there is interest on Conor McGregor's part? I mean, let's be real. You have everybody in the world, it seems like, calling you out. Everyone wants to fight you. He deals with the same thing. You guys fighting each other, it seems to make a lot of sense. So is it fair to say There's actual interest, Jake?
Yeah, there is. It's business, baby.
That's right.
At the end of the day, Conor's a businessman. So is his manager, Audie. And we're going to make big business happen.
All right. If I'm Conor McGregor, I'm like, yeah, they talked about it. People offer to fight Conor McGregor all the time, but he is the ultimate trash talker. He is a terrific fighter and even more terrific at trash talking. Dana White has responded as of last night. He told TMZ Sports bluntly, I'm thinking of letting Amanda Nunes knock his ass out. Holy shit. Talked a little bit about what Jake Paul said. My team, Conor, sent you a $50 million offer this morning, $50 million cash, proof of funds, the biggest fight you've ever been offered. Paul says this while sitting in his $350,000 Lamborghini. But you're scared to fight me, Conor. You're ducking me because you don't want to lose to a fucking YouTuber. You're 0-1 as a boxer. I'm 2-0 as a boxer. Come on, man. Jake seems to be channeling his inner notorious throughout this video, smoking a cigar and holding a glass of whiskey with flag draped his shoulders. While the $50 million number sounds crazy, Paul posted parts of the contract sent to Conor's camp, which says Jake Paul has acquired backing for this event, who's willing to guarantee you a purse of $50 million for Conor McGregor to participate in this event. Jake backs up his talk, pointing out how big of a success his fight with Nate Robinson was. He mentioned this. That was, of course, on the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones Jr. card. I just came off the 8th biggest pay-per-view event in history, but you want to fight Dustin Poirier, I think that's how you say his name, who has less followers than my fucking dog. Well, who gives a shit about that? He's a professional, just doesn't have as big of a following, and you're stupid. It's not his fault that you're a fucking world-renowned YouTuber that everybody follows. That doesn't mean you're a great boxer. I hope that Conor McGregor kicks the shit out of this guy. This guy pisses me off, and then that'll be that. I'm kind of buying into the whole thing. Please let it happen. Please. All right. Okay. Hire me on Cameo, Eric Zane, cameo.com/Eric Zane. That's where I'm at. I'd love for you to check me out on Cameo. It's just $15.99. That's how much it costs. I think Cameo takes about half of that these days, those greedy bastards. And it's been a while since I've done one. I did one for the big euchre competition for Crohn's disease. But if you want me to call out your friends for a roast them for their birthday, whatever it may be, reach out cameo.com/Eric Zane. I'd love to do a cameo for you. Okay. I've got the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage. Great group over there. They want to get you into a mortgage as soon as possible. 231-332-6505. Never has there been a better time to go get a mortgage. And the Mario Flores Lakeshore team of Van Dyke Mortgage can do just that for you. Reach out to them. Rates are incredibly low. And especially you first-timers, you're thinking, I can't get a mortgage, Eric. Seriously, it's just, let him figure that out. He's the professional, and there are no dumb questions. Don't be embarrassed about anything. He's seen it all. He's done it all, okay? 231-332-6505. He was, in fact, in that boat one time. He's not shy to tell that story. That did happen to him. He turned it around, and now he's helping people like you. Thank you to them. F45 Byron Center, thanks to them. When it comes to getting in shape, I want you to call upon my friends at F45 in Byron Center, Michigan, located in the Family Fair Shopping Center. And there you go, group setting with a personal touch. F45training.com/Byron Center. You sign up and get that first week free right on the website there. Do it, sign up, and make sure that when you drop in, you mention the Eric Zane Show podcast. Marketing with Stella Fly. If you've got a small or medium-sized business or even a large business and you're not utilizing Facebook or any type of social media to your advantage, you're just doing it wrong. Or if you're like, I just don't have time to do it, so I'm not going to do it. That doesn't mean you don't do it. You just got to have somebody help you who's professional. So do that with my friends at Stella Fly. S as in Sam, T as in Tom, ELLA Fly.com. Thank you to Laura and the folks at Stella Fly for always supporting me and reposting all my stuff. My retweets, or I should say retweeting the show and key supporter. Thank you so much to the folks at Stella Fly. All right. Oh, okay. So, do you remember the story last week we talked about that? Oh God, it was just an awful thing. That football coach out of Georgia, Jarrell Williams is his name. A lot has happened to Jarrell Williams since he beat up the 8-year-old kid. That horrible incident where he took his football team to neighboring Florida for some tournament, some 9 and under football league. And it was just crazy because you see this grown-ass man and all of these really little guys kind of there just milling around, and all they want to do is have fun. And you get some guy who thinks he's coaching the Super Bowl. Ball up his fist and hit the kid. I'm surprised he didn't hurt his hand. He really hit him in the head, and it isn't like he could break the skin or blacken his eye or anything. But that jarring motion of his head is the brain moving around and hitting the inside of the skull. There's that, and just his neck whipping around like that. And he's a little guy. He could have really badly hurt him. He didn't, thank God. But not only did he do it once, he did it twice, and the kid fell down, and all the other kids were watching. And how about the 3 other fucking joke coaches sitting there watching it all happen, and they didn't do anything to him. And God bless the person who got it all on video and made it a thing. Williams offered up this lame-ass apology where he basically was saying, you shouldn't be mad. The parents aren't mad. And just a real dickheaded apology he put forth, half-hearted and shitty. He lost the coaching gig. He's been banned by the youth organization and can never coach again. And he lost his job, which makes me very, very happy. I love that happened. I'm hoping he winds up on the street, under a bridge, or dead at some point. NFL legend Bruce Smith, it was a really bad man when he played football, has come out of the woodwork. He said he was furious, and it was more than just the type of rage that I'm expressing because of just seeing it. This guy lived this. He says, I was abused by a jerk like you. Bruce Smith was furious when he saw the footage of the kid getting punched by the guy because Smith endured similar abuse. That was disturbing. The 57-year-old Hall of Famer tells us, in my opinion, it was an assault. By the way, he was charged with child abuse. The local authorities finally got involved and did, in fact, charge the guy with child abuse. So this guy he's in deep, deep shit. I don't know if he'll ever serve time. Who knows? But it was just ugly. And it had to happen because he's done this before. So that poor kid, I mean, what now for that kid? I just hope he's okay. I mean, you get traumatized by something like that for life. Hell, when I was talking with Jeffrey and I played on the same soccer team with this coach. And I don't want to say his name because I know there are people that I grew up with who listen to this show. But the coach, it was just a hothead. And he did that shit all the time when we played soccer, would physically throw people around. And back in the day, our parents would be like, oh, he's a great coach. Look at him. He's kicking their ass. We love this. And all the parents would just sit there and smoking cigarettes. My dad's hammered. Hey, he's a good coach, guy. In Iran, that's what we do. We beat the shit out of the kids, guy. It was a different time. You can pull that off. So this guy's doing that. Smith says, in my opinion, it was an assault. When I was, this happened to me, made me a PTSD. I was attacked and dragged around a baseball field by a baseball coach as a young kid. Let's see. So he saw the whole thing. He talked about it. He didn't get into details of his own abuse anymore, but he said it clearly affected him. I never played for that coach or that team anymore, but the scars still remain. Bruce Smith said when his dad learned about the abuse, he didn't get violent. He took the dirtbag coach to court back then. Sometimes parents and people choose to take matters into their own hands, but in this particular situation, my father kept his emotions somewhat out of it to a certain extent and chose the path of letting the legal process handle it. Now, as a grown man with his own kid, Smith says watching the disturbing footage of the youth football coach stirred up some emotions. Quote, coaches are supposed to protect kids. They're supposed to mentor them and make sure they're in a safe environment. Just as disturbing as the attack was, I was even more concerned and outraged that none of the other adults stepped in. Smith also sent a message to the 9-year-old, keep your head up. Yeah, keep your head up when you're around that coach. Motherfuck, head on a swivel. Sick bastard. I'm sure you have folks around you that love you dearly. Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little concerned about the parents. I mean, I would have somebody take a look at why some type of protective services about why didn't you do anything when you learned of this incident. That's not protecting your child. Smith says your parents want the best for you. We hope they have to protect you in this particular case. No one protected this young kid at this critical time in his young life, and that's disturbing. My God. Man, that one won't go away, but this guy's in deep, deep shit, and that makes me happy that this guy is in trouble. Awful. God awful. All right. Got some comments for you via the email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. This is concerning the place kicker for Vanderbilt, Sarah Fuller. She kicked the extra point in the game against Tennessee. That's never happened before at this level of college football. So that's pretty cool. Leave it at that. I've talked many times about how they make an enormous deal about things in any scope of society when it's done by a woman. And I've argued that we need to get past that whole idea of a certain person, woman, ethnic background, whatever, and making a big deal about it because of their ethnicity or race or gender or whatever. BJ writes, Zane, glad to hear that you're back and glad that the surgery went well. The donation was a great thing to provide life to another person. Well, thank you. I'm glad to do it. Glad to have been able to do it. Just listen to show number 482. That was the previous show. Your thoughts on the first woman kicker. I agree. Nothing pisses me off more when people make note for really no reason other than to, I guess, appeal to a group of people or try to make themselves feel better. He writes, the Democrats are doing it with Joe Biden in his cabinet, and it's driving me nuts. And he's right. They are. Every time we get an update, it's like, oh, Joe announced the first Alaskan woman whose great-grandmother married a black man and served on a reservation as an early Indian child. Who gives a fuck? Put the fucking person in office that can do the job. I don't care if the fucker's got 3 eyes, 4 ears. If they can do the job better than the guy behind them or the guy in front of them, give them the job. What the fuck? Signed, BJ. Thank you, BJ. You made my day with that email. Well said. If you ever want to be heard on the show, reach out, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Chris writes, Zane, this one just came in. Just wanted to say it's totally fine to change your mind as we all gather more facts on Corona or COVID. That was your opinion then. This is now after we know more. I appreciate that, buddy. All right. Very good. So that is all. Of course, if you ever want to share a thought, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is so cool. I appreciate it. All right. First off, my friends at A&E Heating and Cooling want to remind you that there is still time to take advantage of the $79 furnace tune-up. Okay, this needs to happen once a year with the furnace. You want to make sure that that thing is tip-top condition, because that's the type of piece of equipment in your home that if it's not serviced right, well, it can kill you. A carbon monoxide leak is the absolute worst terrible thing that can happen. You should have a CO detector in your home. But if you get that thing checked every year, you're saving potential for a catastrophic loss, and you just don't want that to happen. 616-516-8579 for my friends at A&E Heating and Cooling. Now, one of the things I like about Joe is when you get in there, and he gets in there and takes a look at what is happening, he's going to say to you something like, oh, this is a fine running piece of equipment. It's got a lot of life in it. Or he might tell you, I think in about a year or two, you're going to need a new furnace. So what that does is it buys you time. The last thing you want is, oh, you need one right now, because they're expensive. So if you can plan for it, that can help you. When he installs it for you, he utilizes the Comfort Maker brand of furnaces and air conditioners. Thank you to Joe Martinez at A&E Heating and Cooling, 616-516-8579. While I'm at it, some more great startups. Bennett Flooring Installation. Jacob and Jason are the absolute best. And I see in my crystal ball that you will be at the Eric Zane Show podcast household before too long, working on the basement. I'll do it just like you do it, all you audience members. I call them 616-318-0167. They're going to measure the flooring area, and then he's going to give me an estimate to put down what I want him to put down. In this case, it'll probably be vinyl plank flooring. I'll go buy it, the flooring, leave it downstairs. He shows up and installs it. That's what you're paying for, okay? This is the easiest way to make yourself look like an absolute, a wizard in your household, okay? Because if you do it yourself and you're like me and that's not something you do for a living, you run the real risk of making it look like shit. I'm just very, very concerned with myself when it comes to projects like this. So if that's you, save yourself the grief and reach out to Bennett Flooring Installation, BennettFlooring.com. or 616-318-0167. Thank you so much, Jacob and Jason. And then, of course, my friends at A&D Cleaning, Denny Fake News, the guy who brought up the whole business about helping feed the hungry. That was his idea that he brought forth, and I kind of picked up the ball and ran with it. So thank you, Denny, for the notion. I appreciate your kindness. If you want your home looking fantastic, reach out to A&D Cleaning. Call Amy, the brains, power, and beauty of the operation, 616-550-3644. Get your home cleaned by A&D Cleaning today, 616-550-3644. A&D Cleaning, the sponsor of Daisy the Bulldog. Okay. All right. I got a couple other stories that I wanted to get to, and this one comes to us. Thank you to, I think it was Brian who sent it along. Bleeding Heart Brian. Northern Indiana man lost his wallet. Okay, now, if you're like me, I do this all the time. I've slowly but surely gotten better at it, but, oh, God, where the hell is it? And I don't know if you're like me, but as soon as I lose it, Diana, I need help. And then she finds it for me every time. I try to put it in one spot, but this guy in Northern Indiana did not do that, and he knew exactly where it was when he lost the wallet. It was in his pants. It was in the pocket. The problem is the pants got thrown out in the trash. Bigger problem. The trash guy had just arrived and took the trash and dumped it all into the truck. So he was 100% convinced that the wallet was in the trash, like in the actual vehicle, the trash vehicle. Again, Northern Indiana, it was full of cash. So I don't know how much. It just says it's full of cash. Now, I don't know how much it's going to take to make you want to do this, but he wanted to hunt it down and get it back. Robert Nolte ended up in the trash just the other day. He asked a pal to throw out a pair of green camouflage pants that were covered in white paint. Trash was hauled away. And he's like, uh-oh, yeah, that sinking feeling. Oh, no. At his wife's urging, he called city code enforcement and explained what was up. The guy in charge says, I told the caller there would be no way to find this. No way. The boss, nonetheless, agreed to help and worked with a crew from Republic Services, the trash hauler, to search for the pants after determining which driver had collected the trash. Somehow, they were able to take 9 metric tons of trash that were dumped onto a concrete slab and pinpoint that was the area that the truck had dumped it. I guess that's a thing. In fact, I know there's listeners of this show who do this for a living. So I guess that's entirely feasible. It isn't like they just dump it blindly and they have no idea where it is. They knew where it was. But you've got a lot of trash here. 9 metric tons. Dude and the workers decided to go through all of it. And it took all of it to go through before they found it. They found the guy's pants unbagged at the very bottom of all of the trash, soaking wet with garbage. It better, I don't know how much money. If it's $100, no, that's not happening. 1,000, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm pretty damn cheap. But holy shit. They found the cash-filled wallet still in the pocket. The dude thanked Republic Services for the boss of the dump said, thanks for letting us allow the search to happen so that Nolte could find his wallet. Nolte says it smelled a little bad. It was wet. Existing bad vagina joke. He says, but I can buy another wallet, said Nolte, who had made a trip to the bank before his wallet went missing. I wish they would tell us exactly how much was in there. Dude says, I took out a $100 bill to give to the folks for finding my wallet. The guy refused it. He would not take the money. I would take that money. Hell yes. I'd say, that's it? $100? No. You need to give me more than that. He just said, God will do better. God will do me better down the road. Oh, my God. That is incredible. What a thing to say. I would say no. I would, okay, I'd take the money and maybe give a little bit of it away. But that's a lot of time and energy you put in it to cleaning through or going through someone's garbage like that. No money. That is definitely worth something. Make them take it. Convince them of it. I'd be the type of guy that I'd put out the $100, and then as soon as they said, no, that's got to take it back immediately. Okay, thanks. All right, smell you later. Thank you. My God. Jeez. Police respond to break-in. Found something else entirely different instead. Pembroke Pines, Florida. Cops in South Florida got a call. There's an armed break-in at a men's clothing store. Happened just the other day. People called the cops and said, this is a problem. We've got a big issue. People just ran in with assault rifles. They're stomping around the men's clothing store. This is going to be the big one. This is going to be like, a enormous mass shooting. I cannot believe this happened. They were shooting a fucking music video and they didn't tell anybody. The guns were not real. The men holding them were actors in a video, said a spokesman for the police department. I mean, how can you, in this day and age, where if you even think of a gun, it's a problem. If you even have a gun on your kid's Zoom for school, they end up kicking the kid out of school. You know, if there's even a picture of a gun, there's nothing. Guns are a problem. Don't do anything with guns because everybody freaks out. These guys are tromping through the store with guns. No one said a word. If you're going to do a music video inside of a men's store with people and you quarantine there, you have the store cordoned off and you're going to go through and do that, you got to have people outside of the store saying, hey, folks, don't worry, this is a music video, just to let them know. Otherwise, this is going to be a problem. It was being filmed, accessories a store with a film crew while the larger shopping center was closed. The Miami Herald reported, citing a store manager. The manager said the filming was supposed to take less than an hour, but a witness saw the events unfolding, not knowing it was staged, called the cops. The scene being filmed depicted two men with guns entering the store and demanding workers to put money in the bag. Stupid. Idiot music video. Pembroke, you know what? I hate music videos, frankly. I just like to see bands play. Why can't you just have the group on stage and then performing? I'm guessing there was no instruments being played. I'm guessing this was a rap video. There, I said it. Pembroke Pines officials said the city had not given a permit for the filming, and the shopping center's management team said in a statement that it was also not aware of the video, so somebody's going to get in trouble. We are extremely disappointed that our guests' experience and peace of mind were compromised this morning, and unfortunately, proper protocol was not followed in this instance. Those involved were not charged because they had permission to be in the store and did not display the fake guns in a threatening manner. Who was the dude? Carlo Bellerio. Do you remember Carlo Bellerio? He was a New Jersey comic who, back in the day in the radio show, he would listen to the radio show. He became a fan, and I would see him from time to time. We kind of became buddies. I still talk to him every now and then. Carlo, a stand-up comic and aspiring actor, signed up to be an extra in a B-list movie or B-movie, and they were driving through a neighborhood early in the morning, and he had a fake gun, and he was hanging. It was a BB gun, and he was hanging out of a car window for the scene that they were making. But the problem is they didn't tell anybody it was the same scenario. They didn't tell anybody they were doing it, and the cops showed up. Carlo got in deep, deep trouble for possession of this weapon. New Jersey has some of the strictest gun laws in the union, and he almost went to prison for that, and it cost him a ton of money to get out of it. Just a horrible mistake. Yeah, you probably don't want to shoot anything with fake guns drawn if you don't have the appropriate permission, you big fat dummy. All right. I'm going to wrap this thing up, but before I go, I do want to remind you that Tag Accounting is looking for you to get your taxes done, man. This is so important. Call my friend Troy Ginzer, 616-301-9516, okay? 616-301-9516. Schedule your tax appointment. Get on his radar, okay? Anywhere in the listening audience, doesn't matter where you're located, Troy can help you get your taxes done, okay? So it doesn't just have to be Michigan. Doesn't matter where you are. You should have your taxes done by an accountant. He's going to take away all the stress that comes with doing your taxes all the time. That is back to being yours. And before you know it, your return will be in your bank account, and you didn't have to do anything other than make the call. It's awesome. I've worked with Troy for years, and we had a number of people last year who signed up for his tax services. You're all returning customers, and then new people too. 616-301-9516 for Tag Accounting, online at tagcpa.net. JM Synthetics, I want you to buy Amsoil from Jason, and he wants to sign you up for Patreon too. This is how it works. Reach out to Jason Mays at JM Synthetics. You go to his website, jmsynthetics.com. His phone number is right there. And then you call him. You say, Jason, I want to buy $100 in products. What do you want to buy? Well, I just looked at the website, and I want to buy this, 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 and this. Now, you can buy it through the website, and he does get credit for that, but you're better off buying it from him directly like this, okay? Get his phone number, call him up, say, I want 3 cases of oil, okay? And if you spend more than $100 and buy a $20 preferred membership account, you're going to save 10% right off the top, and he's going to throw in 1 year of Patreon, patreon.com/Eric Zane. More information at jmsynthetics.com, okay? There you go. Man, wow. As always, I want to hear from you on email, eric@ericzaneshow.com. Let me check out if there's anybody else scraggling. Nope. I appreciate it. Please. Okay. Eric, tell the story about when you were a teenager and your dad passed out after getting hammered. Well, which one? Then you took his work truck for a drive and smashed it up. The next day, you're getting it wrong. The next day, you're getting it wrong. It's not what happened. It was even worse, Trevor. Out of the blue, yeah, there's no problem. There's no reason why I can't tell this story. Dear Meathead is tomorrow. That brought to you by JM Synthetics. In fact, I can bring this up with him. If you do have a question for Dear Meathead, send that to me, eric@ericzaneshow.com. I don't know why this popped into your head, Trevor, but it's a classic. 14-year-old Eric. I wouldn't be surprised if listener Kim Lazara was at the campsite when this happened, probably right after a tent incident. Now, we weren't at Fear Bunker North when this happened. We were at a place in Michigan known as the Spring Lake State Park Campground, right by Fife Lake, Michigan. My dad used to get so rip-roaring drunk at these celebrations. Oh, my God. Seriously. So he was probably drinking ouzo, and he had this silver conversion van, known nowadays as a rape van. And he had like a license plate on the front that said the Silver Bullet. And it's a silver van with all these stupid windows, these gigantic windows in the side, and Venetian blinds, and a red velvet in the back, and these captain's chairs. It was just ridiculous. And he just loved this freaking van. And for some reason, it was in the way of something. And someone said, hey, can someone move the van? And I found myself behind the wheel. Now, I don't know how to drive. And I'm putting it into reverse and moving it. And then I hear the sound of something scraping the side of the van. And I'm rubbing it up against an enormous tree. And I'm like, holy son of a bitch, man. I get it away from the tree, get out of the car, and it's just screwed up, man. The whole side of the van is just pushed in like a big, it looked awful. And the paint is completely mauled with these stripes all on it. You look at the tree, there's silver paint on the tree. It's very clear what happened, okay? What did I do? Put it in park, took the keys out, put the keys back where I found them. No one has any idea what happened. I think there was one person who was aware of it, and I convinced them to a life of secrecy in this story. And then the next day, sure enough, it worked like a charm. What the hell happened here, guy? What's going on? What happened to my van? I go, oh, you don't remember? Now, I give credit to, you don't expect a 14-year-old to have this type of foresight. You would just think a 14-year-old would fold. And, I did it. But no. You don't recall? No, guy, what happened? Well, you had to move it, man. You don't remember hitting the tree? No, I did. Joanne, did I hit the tree? Oh, I don't know, Rob. She was drunk, too. All they did was drink. He had no idea. It fucking worked like a charm. He goes, oh, son of a bitch, man. I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have done that. He's like acting like he remembered. Oh my God! Years later, I came clean with him on that deal. Oh, fantastic! He had no clue. He was pissed. He was actually pissed when I actually revealed it to him. I'll probably go back in time and piss him off again tomorrow. Love it. Dear Media, tomorrow, brought to you by JM Synthetics. Send questions for Dad, Eric at ericzaneshow.com. Don't be a stranger when it comes to the great food giveaway. If you can, if you can't, screw it. Don't worry about it, man. Send them cash along via Venmo at Great Food Giveaway or PayPal. Search at Diana Zaitunian, Zeitunian. Stay safe. One day closer to us being free of this COVID-19. Go get your vaccination. If you are listening to the podcast weeks ahead, like weeks from now, like let's say I recorded it on December 15th and you're not listening till January 15th, screw it. Get caught up. Don't listen to all those. Just listen to the current one. That's what I want you to do. Go back later on. I want you to be up to speed what I'm talking about. All right? That's my advice to you. Thanks again, folks. I appreciate you. Much love. We'll talk to you next time, and we'll talk to you on Patreon, too. Thanks again. Bye-bye.